Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 8-Bit Adventures Podcast. I am your host, Sean Hayes, here to bring you the latest and greatest gaming news of the past week. This is episode 347. Hope everyone's had a great week. I was going through a little bit of a slump. Little bit of a slump. In some part to having a real bad losing streak, practicing Lorcana decks, but there was some other stuff going on. Yeah, I'm home with the dog all week. My wife and kids are on vacation, so I am left to my own devices. So we're gonna be doing lots of streaming this week. I might try and stream some Warcraft, and maybe stream some Lorcana, through duels.inc. See how that goes. But, yeah, and we've got some fun news this week. There's at least 2 games on the list that I saw there was news about, and I was like, I got to talk about them. So very excited to do that. So, without further ado, I think it's unfortunately I was trying to get the audio to sync up in the intro finally. So we started the show a little bit late. So, why don't we get right into the news, because we're starting a little bit late. All right, so first up, Xbox Game Pass customers will be happy to hear that The Verge reports that Microsoft Gaming CEO Asha Sharma noted she made a note that the service has, quote, become too expensive for players, and that they are going to be investigating pricing because she feels that the service must provide a, quote, better value equation for the services offered. It was over the past year, the price has increased by like 50%. And so it looks like she is going to take a look, and there may potentially be price cuts. It's a weird case where like it jumped as a way because like, and I remember talking about this on the podcast of like the huge price jump, and like it technically still is a good value ish, but it was such a big price jump that a lot of people were like, well, I have to cut costs, and like I'll just cut Game Pass. So doing a price cut would certainly, be a way to get more people into it, because like budgets are tight right now. you cannot increase your prices by that much. People they're not going to do it. So it looks like Microsoft Gaming has felt the squeeze, and they're going to look at the pricing structure and try and make it more appealing for customers. So whether that means like, I don't know if it means that they're going to look at potentially like doing a price cut, or if it means that they're like going to readjust like the tiers and what's offered, so that maybe like there's a lower price offering, but you get less. I could see that. So who knows? But all in all, this is good news if you're a fan of Game Pass, because it's too expensive. All right. Next up for our news, Nintendo Life reports that Supergiant has released a bonus patch for Hades 2 to coincide with the PS5 and Xbox Series release. This patch includes extra dialogue, new decorations, bonus scenes, and balance tweaks. In particular, it looks like they really heard a lot of the community feedback on that, like Ares' boons are just kind of bad. And so they did like a big overhaul on how Ares' boons work. And they look pretty interesting. There's also like a bunch of like fun updates. So it's like for one of Poseidon's boons, like it can proc like you get more rewards as time goes on. Like I think it's the one that gives you like bonus rewards and it like scales. And it's like every time it triggers, like he will get more and more excited. And that's such a fun thing to add, is like little things like that. Including like new idle animations for a bunch of the like main characters when you're not talking to them. But also, yeah, there's new dialogue. You can gift people stuff earlier and more often. There's like new dialogue cutscenes, and again, more of them. So yeah, this is great. This when I have time, this might draw me back into playing Hades 2. I did really like it, so I'm excited that there's new stuff. And it means that if you're playing on PS5 or Xbox, is you don't have to play catch up. Is you get that patch like right from the start. So, yeah, very cool. And I'm excited that it has come to other consoles too. It's a great game. I think everybody should be able to play it. and that, you know, the thing is, I don't know how many. I'm curious how many people that like would have played it on PS5 or Xbox instead played it on Steam. Because like the main appeal with the Switch 2 is like it's portable, so like I could bring it with me and play it when I'm on vacation. Like I don't know how many people are bringing their Xbox or their PS5 on vacation with them. I mean, like maybe you are, but yeah, I'm curious, you know, or maybe it's people that have a PS5 but like don't have a great computer. Don't know. Get in the comments. Let me know. Our third bit of news, IGN reports that Pickmos' publisher, the game Pickmos, formerly Pickmon, the game's publisher, Networkgo, so not the developer, the publisher, has pulled the game from Steam. So this game has been pretty controversial since it was released. So for all the folks who were defending Palworld from criticisms of it being a ripoff of Pokemon, a lot of the criticisms that or a lot of the defenses being provided against the criticism of Palworld, they don't work here. There's a lot of designs that are just blatantly Pokemon or Zelda or Overwatch, or like it's wild. And so it's the fact that like people have not stopped talking about it, that it's not the developer pulling it, it's their publisher who's stepping in to perform like their own internal investigation. And there's reports of like stolen artwork being used in the game. Yeah. And and it's also ripping off of Palworld. So it's like you are not making the best of decisions. And it sounds like they were like waiting to push this live until after whatever the court ruling was. And since the court ruled in favor, or well, it didn't rule in favor of Palworld so much as like the Nintendo's patent, it kind of got thrown out in the US. So I don't know like if they were waiting on that and they were just like, just push it live, now's the time. But yeah, it was kind of like, it was like a ripoff of Palworld, but using assets that even more closely resembled Pokemon, but also Link. Like for those that are watching the video, this is a screenshot from the game. No, that is not Link, but it looks really close to Link. So yeah. And this was, they had to change the name of the game because it was Pickmon. and that was deemed like to be too close to Pokemon. So yeah, I don't know what Networkgo is going to find, but I would be very surprised if this game gets put back on without a like major overhauls. So it's wild. All right. Now, for the first of the two games that I really want to talk about. So this one, with a name that gives like both Nintendo and Square Enix a run for their money. Vampire Crawlers, the Turbo Wildcard from Vampire Survivors, is a dungeon crawler spinoff card battle. It's a turn-based deck building dungeon crawler spinoff of Vampire Survivors, which anyone that has listened to the podcast before, I love Vampire Survivors. I love it. Ponkel, I think, is doing great work with that series. And like it's affordable. You get tons of gameplay for the price that you're getting. And like when they put on it, like they put a lot of thought into updates, and there's a lot of crossover with them too. But this game, so they'd announced it for Switch 1, and like other platforms. They hadn't mentioned anything about a Switch 2 version. But Nintendo Life reports that it's like kind of got a stealth drop Switch 2 version. It kind of just like started showing up in the eShop for pre-order. So that's pretty cool. I've watched them there is a demo up on Steam right now. I've heard it's really fun. I'm very excited to give it a try. And I think it releases like next week. So, it's a game where you like perform combos so they created like card versions of all of like the weapons and passives from Vampire Survivors, and like you combo them together. And I just watched a video where there are gems which are treated kind of like gems in Diablo, more like Diablo than they are in Warcraft, where they give you like passive effects as opposed to just being stat boosts. But it might be like reduce this card's cost by 1, or like this, like after you play this card, return it to your hand, or things like, or return a version of this card, like return a copy of this card back to your hand if you played it. So you can equip these gems to your cards to modify those cards and just do absolutely chaotic off the wall stuff. But yeah, so it's turn based, which is fun for me, and I'm really looking forward to this. And just that it's a much different take on the game than Vampire Survivors. But it kind of feels like it captures that same charm. So like, if you play I forget the various names of the weapons. But if you play like the like spinning Bible, it will like spin a couple times and like hit multiple enemies. Whereas like, the dagger will hit, and I think the dagger like might pierce. So yeah, it looks super fun. It does keep the art style, which I appreciate. So, yeah, so we're getting a surprise Switch 2 version. So very exciting for that. And then last up is IGN reports that Windrose, formerly known as Crosswinds, it's a player versus environment, or PvE, pirate survival game from Kraken Express, has launched into early access on Steam. I had not heard anything about this game prior to finding this article. about it. So prior to this week, I was unaware of the existence of this game. This 100% looks like my jam. This is a survival game, and it's player versus environment. So kind of in the vein of like Valheim, okay, where you're doing base building, and kind of a similar style of combat. So like you're swinging melee weapons or using ranged weapons, to fight enemies, but leans in very hard to pirate theme, sort of Age of Sail, and unlike Sea of Thieves, it's PvE, not PvP, which I know is a big it's a big turnoff for a lot of people with Sea of Thieves. It's also, I actually need to look up if it has multiplayer, but I know it does have single player. Okay, so it supports online co-op up to 8 players, where 4 recommended on PC. Of course, that's also all these websites want me to turn off my ad blocker to look at stuff. So yeah, it looks like, so it supports online multiplayer co-op, but you can play it offline solo play. So that is a huge thing for people. I'm trying to think of like what the art style feels similar to. Like it's not like Valheim's art style. It has more detail. But it's not like it doesn't have as much of a stylized cartoonish look that Sea of Thieves does. But I think it's not necessarily as photorealistic as, say, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. But it does feel inspired by that stuff, right? So it has ship combat. Like that's, I know, our first question of pirates, like a pirate game, does it have ship combat? Just because Black Flag set that standard so high. So there's that. This game has fishing. So that put me in the category of going from, oh, cool, it's in early access, I'm going to wish list it and wait for it to full release, to maybe I need to pick this game up. So, yeah, I'm really excited about this. And it's already in early access. It's something like, I think it's like $20. I think it's like normally $25, or something like that. Or maybe it's like $29 and the sale price is like $26. It's like a minor, it's like 10% off. So it's not a very exciting sale. But yeah, it looks fun. Like, and doing part of the thing that I'll have to see. It is reviewing very well on Steam, so that's encouraging. I do need to see like how punishing is it, like, because like Valheim has sliders now to set like how difficult you want your game experience to be. Although with that, like, the part that gets me with Valheim's difficulty sliders is like on the higher levels, it's mostly just like if you want to add quality of life stuff that the game turns off by default for like a preferred play experience. So it's things like, can you bring metal through portals? And the intention is for you to like set up and make different outposts everywhere. But like the majority of how people play is they set up one base and they want to be able to explore from that base. So not being able to carry metal through portals just means that you have to go through a tedium of like carrying it across overland, or building forges everywhere. And people would prefer not to. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be super punishing in terms of like hunger, or like if it continues with the standard survival game mechanic of like you need to find shelter at night because that's when enemies spawn. But yeah, this is actually, you know what, we're gonna see if we can open up Steam and see. Oh, I have it open right now. There we go, because that was the last thing I had. Embark on a PvE survival adventure in the age of piracy. Fight on land and sea, solo or with friends. Build, craft, and explore vast open world filled with dark secrets. So there's a typo in there. Master Souls-light combat and take on challenging bosses, command your ship, and plunder unspoken treasures. Oh, the publish. So it's like both self-published and includes Pocket Pair Publishing in Japan. Interesting. I like how Pirates is now a tag on Steam. I like that. That's fun. You know what? I take it back. It is pretty close to Black Flag's art style for character designs. Oh, and there's all sorts of wild So it's not just fighting pirates. There's all sorts of supernatural monsters and elements here. But it's like building like a fort. That's fun. Ghost ships, caves. Yeah. So the game is currently $26.99 with a full retail price of $29.99. That's not bad. That I feel is pretty. I feel like that's a pretty decent price for a survival game. That introductory offer ends on April 21st. So it ends Tuesday, I believe. Right? Yeah, it ends on Tuesday. So if that interests you, go check that out. And if you go check it out, let me know. Let me know what you think of the game. Because even if I pick it up, I probably won't be able to play it very soon. Yeah, it says similar to games you've played. Valheim, V Rising. That tracks. That's just survival games with crafting and online co-op. So yeah. Vampire Crawlers, the Turbo Wildcard from Vampire Survivors, and Windrose look to be both very, very solid games. Just hoping that my computer can run it. Yeah, it has about 5,100 English reviews and that averages out to very positive on Steam. So looking forward to that. And yeah, maybe I will pick it up. Maybe I will just pick it up as a treat. So that is going to wrap everything up for this week. Thank you all for joining me. If you want to see more content from 8-Bit Adventures, check out 8bitadventures.com. If you'd like to help support this content, you can become a patron over at patreon.com/8bitadventures. Let's see. Patrons get early access to the podcast. if you've missed the live stream. And we'll have other and early access to the comics when the comics will return. They will return someday, folks. Okay, they will come back at some point. It's just I got young kids. I don't have a lot of time. And I'm still trying to figure stuff out. So, big shout out and thank you to all of my current patrons. Thank you for your continued support. It means a lot. And our opening theme is One Up by Professor Shy Guy. You can find his work over at professorshyguy.bandcamp.com. And with that, we're done for this episode. So once again, thank you all for joining me. Hope you have a pleasant week. And as always, have fun, happy gaming, and enjoy your pie cake.